back. You're listening to Houston Real Estate Radio. I'm your host, Shannon Register, and we've got a lot of great information coming your way about real estate. We were out at the Texas Home and Garden Show a couple weekends ago taking consumer questions, and we're going to be answering those questions today. Lots of great information for you. When we go out on locations, we go to lots of home shows, we go to bridal shows, we go to builder events, we have a remote broadcast booth, so we go out on location a lot. And when we're out there, one of the things that we give away to consumers are home value reports. And these reports are so important because they help you with several things. One, if you want to sell your house, it gives you the actual, amount and a range of what your home is worth, comparing it to other places in the subdivision. And then we as realtors follow up with you and help you evaluate that and make sure that price is right. If it needs to be adjusted, then we do that for you and explain the report to you. Another way you can use it is if you're going to be remodeling, it kind of helps keep you in check with the rest of the neighborhood to make sure you don't put too much money into the house that you can't get back out of it. And if you're a buyer, it's a great report. If you know what house you're going to buy or what neighborhood you're going to be buying in, it's a great report to look at what is going on in that neighborhood. So lots of great information. If you ever see us out on location, we were actually at the Texans game last weekend doing a tailgate party. So if you ever see us out on location, get one of those reports. Lots of great information in those. So this is our next call in here that we're going to answer. Just a random person walking by at the home show had a real estate question. We took it. We're playing it today and answering it for you. I've got a couple of guys here in the studio helping me answer those questions. I've got Chris Childress of Register Real Estate Advisors. He's a realtor, and he's also one of our agent trainers here at the brokerage. And Keith Hebert, he is a commercial realtor, a broker associate here. He also does business development at our brokerage. So they're going to be here answering these questions as well. So let's take a listen.
I spotted some apartments that I think are in the right location. And I did find out that they were already being bought. And I sort of found out how much he paid for them. I would like to offer that buyer maybe 10 grand more than he paid for them, because I want that piece of property. How do I go about doing that?
Okay, well, that's interesting because I don't think that property is for sale.
Right. Yeah, you do need a professional to help you find property. What's good about Houston is there's thousands of properties out there, so that might not be, you may not get that exact property, but you may even find a better one. So you'd want to get a professional, but to find that property, you want to get a hold of a realtor who knows where to find the information and can contact that owner and negotiate an offer for you.
All right, sounds good. All right, y'all ready for another question?
Sure.
Shannon, I was just wondering, are there going to be new neighborhoods going in by the Grand Parkway and 290?
Ooh, yeah, there's new neighborhoods going in everywhere, right?
There are. Out of that area, it's definitely going to be an area where we have a lot of growth. You've got Fairfield, which is currently there at Mason 290. It's expanding and trying to absorb some of that. It's probably going to be at capacity here pretty quick. But you've also got a ton of other developments. You've got the Bridgeland community over there, which is a sister.
Huge.
It's a sister of the Woodlands, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be something very comparable. And there's just several neighborhoods that we uncovered this morning that are growing up in that area, starting at $250 on up to close to $1 million.
So lots of different price points. Let's hear what some of those neighborhoods are.
Yeah, some of those neighborhoods you'd be looking at Stone Creek Ranch, Sydney Harbor, Canyon Lakes West, of course, Fairfield and Bridgeland.
And Bridgeland's just going to be growing and growing and growing for the next 10, 15, maybe 20 years. I mean, it's a huge master plan community.
And most consumers are going to need realtors up there because the pre-existing home sales, there's not very many of those for sale. You're going to be looking for a new home up in that area.
Might have to do some new construction.
Yes.
All right.
Hi, this is Maria joining Houston Real Estate Radio at the Texas Home and Garden Show. And I just had a question. I wanted to know, has anyone ever had an experience where they're closing on a house, but the seller wants to continue to live there for a few more days rent-free? Has that ever happened, Houston? Talk to me.
I love her personality. She needs to be on the radio more often.
Yeah, fun, right? That's a very common occurrence. Naturally, when you sell a house, you got to have time to make your move. So more often than not, the seller will need to stay in the house for a few days. So there are specific documents that your real estate professional will provide for you when you're negotiating that contract. It's referred to as a temporary residential lease. Actually goes both ways. You can, if a buyer is buying, you can have the buyer's temporary residential lease, basically giving him the opportunity to maybe move in a little bit early. That doesn't happen as often as the seller doing a temporary residential lease, which buys him a few days thereafter. And of course, there's the consideration money to be discussed. And I have seen it where the new buyer just allows the seller to hang out for a couple of days and gives them predetermined time to get out. But more often than not, there is some sort of a monetary consideration for that.
Yeah, I would say for most buyers, they're going to want to take their monthly mortgage payment, divvy it up by the days in the month, and charge the seller per day. But sometimes the seller has done something extra for the buyer, left a refrigerator or something, kind of thrown something in, fixed some things that need to be fixed, repaired. And so sometimes it's, I see as little as, $25 a day. So I think it varies.
I think it's important also when you're a seller, if you can't really afford to not close on time, to buy yourself 7 to 14 days by getting a seller lease back and ensure that buyer closes and closes on time.
Yeah, that's something that, a couple of years ago even up to a year ago, when the mortgage, we were having so many problems with mortgages, we were encouraging the seller, stay a few days after the closing, pay the buyer to stay there a few days after the closing, just to make sure it closes. And because I just think the worst thing that can happen to the seller is the buyer falls through at the last minute and the seller's already moved out of the house. Now they've got this vacant house that they have to sell, and come in and restage because all their stuff is gone. So it can be a great thing when you feel like could be a chance of the buyer falling out. You definitely want to protect yourself with it.
And that's why you want to use a real estate professional, especially the RREA agents. They're trained in how to do this.
That's right. All right, let's take our next caller.
Okay, and we are at the Home Show in Houston, Texas, and we have with us right now
Michael Doise.
And Michael, what question would you like to ask regarding real estate?
What are the county, Montgomery County is where I live, what are they going to do about all the infrastructure of all the roads and stuff that's going to take to handle all these thousands of people coming in here?
Boy, that's a good question. I want to know too.
That is a hot topic. There's so much growth going on in the Woodlands in that area right now. Houston or Montgomery County is actually one of the 30 in the top 30 fastest growing areas and counties in the country right now. They actually said between 2009 and 2012 there was a study of the growth of that particular area, and there was a 60% increase in the working population. So that's just folks going in and actually working in that area. So, and it's going to continue to take place. You've got Exxon in there, which is going to add an extra 10,000 people by the end of 2015. So there's actually a Proposition 1, which we mentioned at the beginning of the show that we're going to discuss a little bit further, which is going to support that and help that out quite a bit in the future, assuming it's approved. Hopefully it will be.
Yeah, when you look at the whole area we call the Texaplex, that is the area of Houston, Texas, Dallas-Fort Worth, Austin, San Antonio. That area, that economy is with the top 10 economies in the world. So, and then when you boil it down to Houston, where Houston's increasing at a rate of, I believe it's 60% in the next, by 2030. Then you boil it down to Montgomery County and being one of the top fastest growing counties in the world. We really need to focus on our infrastructure. We're a growing economy here, and we can't be choked by poor infrastructure.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. There's a lot of people in the area. In the Texaplex as a whole, there's close to 24 million people. In Houston, there's 6.6 million people. Montgomery County alone is 550,000 people currently. So just a ton of people in that area. So
yeah, we're going to come back later in the show and talk about this Proposition 1 that's out there and what's going on, and really get some more information about what's happening with this transportation infrastructure, because we definitely got some problems coming in our direction, and good problems problems to have. It means we got a great, robust economy, and we're growing faster than we have money to fix the roads, right?
That's true.
So
It's an exciting place to be.
That's right. It's good problems to have. Texas is still the best place in the world to live, so it's exciting. And we'll be right back in just a minute here on Houston Real Estate Radio. If you missed any of today's show, go to HoustonRealEstateRadio.com, and you can also find us over on Facebook. And if you've got a question, give us a call, 281-882-8088. We'll be happy to answer your real estate question right here every week between 11 and noon on Houston Real Estate Radio.